nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.
Hi everyone, we're back and welcome to Black Girl Nerds Talks. I know. You don't have to tell us.
We're living in Trump's America, and
we all made choices.
Things have not happened the way we thought they were gonna.
No.
We were definitely like, oh, it's gonna be every week.
No, but it didn't. But we're here, and we're going to try every week.
We're here, and there's a lot of other great content on the BGN channel.
Yes.
Especially the stuff from South by Southwest and other great stuff that you've been able to see. So it's not like you're missing out on anything.
I know that.
Missing our beautiful faces.
You just miss our faces. But we're back, and we're going to talk about Iron Fist. And we're going to do a mini review. We actually watched the first 2 episodes together, not like physically together, but like over text. We text each other. We should like read those texts because they're so funny. Because we're like, no, what?
Yeah.
And then just like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little preview of what we thought about it. So we're going to talk about that and just sort of like controversy in general within casting. So, let's get started. Who wants to start?
Let's start like how the Iron Fist show starts.
Yes.
Well, first it actually starts with like very cheap looking opening credits. And what did you called it? CW quality.
It's like CW, but like not good.
Yeah,
like,
not good.
Yeah, but that's like the whole thing. It's like I think that if the show was on the CW, you wouldn't have. I think you would have given it kind of a break, but because it's a Netflix show and the other Netflix shows, or at least whether or not you could argue that all the sort of Netflix shows have kind of like diminishing returns. Like they all peter out at the end. That's like all the Marvel Netflix shows struggle towards the end. But at least there's sort of like a level of quality to all of them. And, like, the acting or whatever is at a certain level that's just, like, is not here from the very beginning. Right. From the opening, from the jump, you're like, okay, this is different. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned if it was a CW show, it would get a pass because it is a CW show.
Yeah.
It's Arrow. It's Green Arrow.
Yeah, it's basically Green Arrow. So if you've seen Green
Arrow. It's definitely the show. Remember, my sister, she messaged me because we don't live in the same place. And she was like, it's like a shittier Arrow.
They should put that, like when they like do like those little feature commercials, shittier Arrow.
And I think that leads into a criticism that I had of the show. Is when you're watching Arrow, let's compare the two for a little bit. That first episode, even before you ever watch the first episode, you know what Oliver Queen's is all about. You know what his purpose is, how he got to Lian Yu, is it?
Yes. It is.
How he, his whole origin story is clear from the very first episode. Yeah. You might not know everything, but you know his motivations, you know what his purpose is, and you know by the end of the first episode, you know what his overall goal will be for that season, right? Right. Where the first 2 episodes we watched, I still cannot tell you what the purpose of Iron Fist is. I don't know.
Why is he there? What is he doing? There's no spoilers. Like, have you ever seen a show where you literally couldn't spoil it if you wanted to? Right. Like, that was something I was thinking about because I was talking to one of my friends about it. And he was like, yeah, I'm not sure. And he's on episode, 4 or 5, and he says he still is not sure. Like, the Iron Fist has had its reveal, but you still don't really get much information as far as, why he's there. Like, you get a little bit, but there's no plot. Nothing happens in episode 1 or 2, and it's not and a lot of times it's like, oh, it's not plot, but it's background information. It's not even background information, so it's like, what are we even doing?
It gives you these background. They give you these things that is supposed to make you care about the character, like these weird flashbacks, but we don't know anything about him. We don't even know even a small motivation. even
like,
if it was like something
back.
of like, how did you get back and why do you want to come back? You want to get answers, but like there has to be something more than that,
right.
you know?
And we need to know within the first 5 minutes. Like it's because what happens in the story is that you just get all this information and these things keep happening to him. And you're kind of like, yeah, he is kind of like a gross, we don't know who you are person because we don't have any more information than anybody else. And when he like comes in on them and he's like, you got to believe me. And it's like, I wouldn't believe you. And I don't believe you now. So I also think they should kick you out. And it's like, not, you're supposed to go into...
That doesn't make sense. Right. You are part of this very rich family, supposedly. But you came in there looking like you don't even know what's going on. Like,
just take a shower.
Like, I just felt like that was just like white privilege to the max. Like, you really feel like you're just about to walk in here and just do whatever you want, and people are just gonna like fall over. What? No.
He totally did. He's like, just
like
listen to me.
Like, you didn't call anyone.
Yeah,
you had to have gotten
make
on
a phone
plane.
Call. Yeah.
So you didn't call anyone beforehand. Like, maybe not the people in the company, but like anyone. Somebody. How did you get there? This is always going to be my question. I guess I have to like keep watching the show to figure it out.
Please don't make us, guys.
No, leave it in the comments. Yeah. Like, this is going to be a spoilery.
Spoilers.
So
there's no spoilers, but fine.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. Tell me how he got there because I'm very confused, and it's looking like it's 2-3 episodes in, and I have no idea.
And so that's the biggest thing. So now let's talk about the performances. So the other thing about this show is that it's got a real acting problem, like a real acting problem, where, who's the guy's name? The Danny Rand character?
Finn Jones.
He is just like, nothing. Like, he just is not giving me anything. He just like moves from room to room, and he just is like, he doesn't even like, it's like he's like moving to mark. So he's like, I'm standing here and now I need to go over there, and it's like he's like not acting, he's
and
just
it's
sort of
like, it's also like, I need to feel this emotion.
Right, exactly.
And it's so...
It's like he's reading from a book or something.
Yeah, so there's points where he's supposed to be getting, like, stressed out or, like, going through
he's
something.
Just like,
and he's, like, touching his head, and he's just, like...
he's like, why is New York so hard? No!
Like, I guess he has, like, some kind of, like... powerful person migraine or something that's making him crazy.
Power migraine.
Yeah,
why doesn't people
like
just listen to
an
me?
iron fist migraine. And it's just so ridiculous. It looks like, it really does remind me of like when a kid is about to have a temper tantrum. Yeah. That's really the only way I can think to describe it. It's like, you know when a kid's about to blow up and they make that face. I know, and they're just scrunch up.
It's just like slightly constipated. It's just like, oh!
And I'm like, this is so bad.
Yeah, so he's not giving anything.
No, he's not.
None of the other characters really are giving anything.
Except, I think her name is Jessica Henwick?
Jessica something? Yeah, she's good. The story, she's really the best thing. We have motivations for her. Like, we know she's doing things. Like, I was just like, well, can't you just, like, shift? Because she's the only one who has any purpose. Like,
we know about her, and it's not like, it's just like little things that they do that tell you about her in the first 2 episodes. She has a dojo. She's like a very confident and straightforward person.
And it's through her performance too. Like, she's like giving us things that's the other thing too. It's like, I think when they were plotting it, they were like, oh, maybe his performance will tell us more about him, because that's what she does. She's like, the way she carries herself, the way she communicates, all talks about, you know, she feels this way. She's very this, and she doesn't want guys to feel this way, like whatever. But like, he just is like I said, nothing at all. Like, you just really can't tell. He just seems weird. Like, he just seems like a weirdo. No, he does. He seems like creepy.
Weird, and weird people attract to him because like this random homeless guy talks to him, and like it's so weird. Just like there was this scene where they talk about being special creatures.
I know.
I was laughing for at least.
I know.
A good few minutes.
It was like a conversation between 2 serial killers. It's like, we both kill people. It's special.
So bad. So
it's
bad.
Good.
I've been listening to other people review the show, and some people say it's not that bad, and I feel like they're right in that if this was a CW show, it's very much matches a CW show. There's another character who I feel like his acting was just atrocious. I don't know his name, but he played Ward Meacham. Yeah, and it was just so dry. So I just was like, I don't know what's going on here. But I could completely see that type of performance in a show that's on CW, because CW is campy, and CW is like kind of silly because it is on television.
Right,
so they
and
don't
you
have
want it to be like bigger performances. But then even if like the shows are campy, but like the thing that makes CW shows work and be campy, and the reason why this show doesn't work and it's campiness, because one of the things we have to think about, one of the things I considered, is that we have this thing now where superhero properties aren't supposed to be campy, which is ridiculous because the source material is kind of campy. So I was open to it being campy and to defend it, but the problem with the difference between this and a campy show on, say, CW is that they are plot machines. Like, you can't stop watching those shows if you wanted to, because they're going through plot, things are happening. So that's how you have a campy show that's effective, is because there's something to watch. Right. If you have a campy show that has nothing to watch, then it's just like, there's no reason for it, because like a show like Arrow is campy, but there's lots of like plot to go. So like you are at least watching him do things, whether it's ridiculous or not. Again, like diminishing returns. Same thing with Flash, and especially the Heroes of Tomorrow, or whatever that show is. I don't really watch
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's like they're doing missions, they're doing things, so there's something to watch. Yeah. But this show, he doesn't even have a mission. He's not doing anything. Like, the first 2 episodes had no plot. I've never seen anything like it. Like, literally nothing happens. And I'm a writer, and so one of the things we talk about in writing is that you have to, like, have a character is supposed to want something, and things are supposed to get in his way of wanting that thing. And so you're like, oh, so maybe his thing is that he wants people to believe him, but not really. Like, he doesn't really seem... He just is so confused. He has, like, no motivation.
Right, and then, like, the next thing was, like, he wanted to summon the Iron Fist. Right. And then, but that happens, like, pretty early, and it's not really that great either. And we don't know why. Like, we don't know why. We don't know the purpose. We don't know why that's significant.
Right, and why can't he summon the Iron Fist where he was? Right. And if where he was is so great, why is he coming back?
That's so weird. And that kind of goes into, like, the casting controversy, like the whole thing of him wanting to summon the Iron Fist and doing these meditations and just doing these really weird things. It's just like, why did you cast this way in the first place? Because like there's a scene where he speaks Mandarin to
I know. In my text I was like, oh my god, he's speaking Mandarin. Yeah.
Gosh, it's horrible. And then there's like parts where he like has these like meditation moments where he's like on some mountain and he's meditating in like this monk costume, and it's just like, it's just bad. This is bad. This is really, really bad. It's bad.
So I guess we can sort of use that to shift into sort of like casting controversies in general. So the whole thing that people said with Iron Fist, which I went back and forth about it, because I was like, well, it's the source material. I think my biggest problem with it is I just don't think there should be an Iron Fist show. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather them pick one of the other Asian Marvel characters, because the thing about this group that they're putting together is that in the comic books, it doesn't look anything like what they're creating. Like, the Hulk is in it, Doctor Strange is in it. So basically, they're just pulling characters from the ether. So if you're going to do that, why not pick somebody else? Why pick a 70s... exploitative of kung fu culture character to put in there? That's the first mistake you made. So, they shot themselves in the foot. So I don't necessarily think, I think it would have been really nice for them to do, an Asian American family that got lost or whatever. But I could see why they didn't have the foresight to do it. But I think, mostly, I just think that the character shouldn't have been.
I would agree with you on the character, not being the one that they chose. Right. I guess they did because there are the Power Man and the Iron Man Fist. Oh, sorry, not Iron Man. I wish it was Iron Man. Right. The Iron Fist comics. So I guess that's what they were going with, that dynamic. Right. But it's not like Iron Fist was featured in Luke Cage. No. And it's not like Not from
Why did we
what
do
I
the
know.
Punisher? Why did
I
you
don't
make
understand why
Punisher
they
in
didn't do
it?
the Punisher. Like, that made sense to me. That makes sense. That's an interesting character. That makes sense to me. That was my big thing, is that I felt like they should have gone with the Punisher, and I feel like he's already been in,
Or Bullseye,
he was
or
already
like
in
somebody
Daredevil,
else. Yeah.
or like, or if they were gonna do this, they should have had. If they were going to do it this way, they should have had him show up in Luke Cage, and he should have been like really campy and really silly, and then they should have like moved into this show, and we would have gone into it like, okay, this is like a campier, sillier show that changes the tone of, like, maybe to balance out the tone of these really serious
because
shows.
I get it, because I understand why they're doing it, because it's a dark crew. Like, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Charlie Cox, they're all pretty like humorless, so I understand why they're doing it, but
this wasn't funny, though.
This wasn't funny. He's just not a good actor. He
was just weird. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say that they don't blame him for taking the role, which I agree. I don't blame him for taking.
No, it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. But I think it's just so tone deaf, especially after Luke Cage, and just how like that was like a really big cultural show, and people really, they really had buy-in to that show because of what they were doing with the Black superhero, and then to go from that to do something that's just already on very shaky cultural ground, that was a big misstep, and they know it was.
Right, and it's just like, comics can be shit. Like, there's all sorts of bad history with comics, all sorts of racist shit in comics. So this whole, like, it's the source material thing. I get it, but it's also sort of like, God, if we took the source material, there's so many crappy, crazy things that happen in the comics, and we're not putting them all on the show, so they could have been more selective about it. It's just, like, bad instincts.
Right. I mean, and it's like, I feel like they make these arguments when it suits a white person. Yes. Because, like, okay, you race bent this character in Doctor Strange, but you couldn't race bend this character in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Like, how is it always... I just think it's so funny. It's always... I mean, I think maybe with Heimdall in Thor, that was like a case where they race bent and it's like everyone went crazy. But typically it's like they're justifying putting a white person as the character.
Yeah.
And I honestly wonder if there's necessarily needs for those characters in the first place sometimes. I'm like, did you really need that character? Like, couldn't it have been maybe slightly different? I'm thinking of Doctor Strange actually right now. And I'm like, you could have probably still done that story and not put that character in there.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they are always like toting the line between, and you're right, it's like they make decisions that serve them, but they're not decisions that actually make sense. Because it would have made sense to sort of just take the character out and create a new character. Yeah. But that doesn't serve them. You know what I mean? It serves them to sort of like have this character and have it be Tilda Swinton. So I think that's sort of like the approach that they have to it. And they just aren't thinking like, like, it's so hard because we don't understand, but literally, like, I've had friends who work in the industry and stuff, and they just don't think about it. Like, they're so focused on, like, their point of view, and a lot of these people don't even understand. And I think we think that Twitter is a big deal, but it's not really to, like, a lot of people who make these decisions. Like, most of them aren't even on Twitter. Like, a lot of directors and producers and stuff aren't on Twitter, so they don't hear it. They don't know it. They just are sort of, like, hearing what their inside circles are saying. So...
Yes, and you can see that the people who are on Twitter, I do feel like their material is a little bit better, a little bit more thoughtful, because
they make less mistakes.
Right, as much as it hurts to get criticism, you kind of can self-correct when you're in the space of what your fans are thinking. I mean, you don't want to just like do fan service, but it does help to kind of say, okay, this is what we're going to do, or this is something that at least think about. Just think about these plot holes or these problematic things that could possibly show up in the shows that you're making.
Yeah.
So, and Iron Fist was a mistake, and I think they're going to hopefully learn from it, because I don't think they should have another season. I think he should just be like this, like they should just like make him a little bit more sillier and have him like show up like in the other shows.
I can't imagine they're going to have a second season of it. Mm-hmm. That would be really stupid.
Right.
Really stupid. But like, how do you fix it? Do you recast him? Do you I like your solution. Like, make them sillier and, like, really lean into it.
Yeah.
I think they just need more plot. Like, if they give him, like, totally ridiculous, like he's in with the mob, like, he's, like, against the mob, or, like, this, or, like, just, like, really ridiculous, high, like, super comic booky stories, I think it could work.
I mean, I feel like the story that they have for him, which I haven't finished the show, so again, in the comments, tell us how it goes.
I know, maybe we're wrong.
But the big thing is the hand. He's the enemy of the hand.
Right,
that's
true,
like the big thing that connects all of the shows.
Right.
So I feel like it's there. I think
make it better.
It just was not well. It was not well executed.
No, it's not.
Because I mean, if it was well executed, we wouldn't. I don't think the conversation would be necessarily the same. You know?
No, this thing, it's like, I think what you said in a text once is like, people will forgive it if it's good. And it's true.
A little bit.
I feel like.
Yeah.
A lot. I feel like.
A lot of it?
Yeah. I feel like if it's really good, people just forget.
Yeah.
And so it's just about if you're going to, because the problem is that whenever people make these decisions, the film or the show is not good enough to make people forget. So all they think about is like, oh, this would have been much better if this person wasn't here, versus like, oh, this is really good. Ghost in the Shell, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because they're saying that if nothing else, the visuals are really good.
I'm really mad. Yeah. I really want to see it.
You can see it.
Oh my God. Maybe we can review it. Will you guys let me see it if we review it?
Yeah. Okay, tell us in the comments if it's okay for us to go see it.
I know, because
or specifically Shenee to go see
I won't see it if you guys tell me not to.
If you say no, if you vote no, we won't go see it.
But I love the source material, and I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But I don't want to support them doing that. But so that's why it makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you doing
because
this to
there
me?
there does come to a point where it's like, okay, I'm just like not gonna give you money.
Yeah.
So
I'll review it if you guys want me to, but if you tell me not, I won't watch it.
So let us know on that. And one thing we didn't talk about were the fight scenes.
Oh, they're horrible.
So bad.
It's like me doing a fight scene. Just like,
supposedly he was learning his fight scenes like pretty much before they were filmed. That's what they were saying. And it's like, again, that doesn't make sense. Like, he's supposed to be a martial artist. He's supposed to be coming back. This would make sense if he was just learning. He's not just learning when he comes back. He's already had the training. He's already a warrior. And these fight scenes are so bad.
They're so bad. It's like worse than CW. Like, I think the Arrow ones are much better than these.
Oh, much, much better. And you get to see his abs all the time when he's on the, like,
I know, he's like lifted.
The little thing that he climbs on all the time.
Oh, best part.
Part.
How is Arrow, guys? I haven't watched in years. Is it good?
Yeah, I'm so
Let
behind
us know
on Arrow.
in the comments below.
I was such a big Flash fan, and then when they were doing like the crossovers, I couldn't keep up. So I'm gonna have to like try to find time. And now they've been doing a musical episode, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing the musical. Oh, your face, why?
I just wish, like, it's too much. Like, each episode is an hour. And there's like 25 episodes a season. It's too much content.
Yeah,
they need to cut down the seasons.
I mean, they need to cut down the seasons for these Marvel shows because they don't need to be as long as they are.
I think each of them should be 5 episodes. I do. Like a little,
I would say 8.
No, I think they should be like Sherlock Holmes, like
8.
Sherlock, like 5
or
episodes. Luther? Yeah, Luther. Yeah, because then you can get like a nice arc because not one of the shows can sustain their lengths. Like all of them have problems towards the end. They just sort of like peter out.
Yeah, well, they add things that they don't need.
They're like, ooh, new plot line, and I'm like, what about this plot line?
Right.
When's Jessica Jones coming back? Is it coming back?
I think it's coming back soon.
Is it filming? Has it filmed?
I'm not sure. We need to do research on that. But one thing cool about Jessica Jones is that they're going to have all female directors. Yay. And you know who they got that from? They got that from Ava DuVernay, who did that on Queen Sugar, which is actually a good show. We should talk about that show.
I haven't watched that show either.
Okay.
But I'll watch it if you guys want me to. Okay, that's it for this episode. Bye.
Yeah, tell us what you think about it, and yay, we're back. We're really
tell us what do you want to tell us to do. Like, tell us what you thought about the show. Tell us if we should see if we can see Ghost in the Shell. It's up to you guys. And what else? Oh,
tell us if you think we should keep watching Iron Fist because we did not finish it.
We did not finish it. So, well, let us know.
Let us know.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.